left over crest.
Shifter.
Fast left over crest into. Easy right opens at crest and fast right.
Oh. Gauche tout à fait.
Ouais, 90 droite.
Caution, caution. Oh, oh non, non.
200 mètres. Danger, coupe à droite.
Okay, 5 left narrow into caution. Crest with jump downhill.
It's the Canadian Rally Championship on TSN. Welcome to Maniwaki, Quebec, as TSN begins its 10th year of coverage. I'm Paul Chater. We're here for the Rallye Perce Neige. Vic Rauter is covering curling this week, so I'm joined by two of Canada's brightest new stars in the sport, Peter Thompson and Andrew Comrie-Picard. Rallying on TSN is brought to you by Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive, and by Yokohama Performance Radials. Yokohama, now you've got control.
Perce Neige is Canada's oldest winter rally. 49 cars will take the start this year. And for the town of Maniwaki, this is like the Indy 500. Everybody comes out, and most are cheering for local heroes, Sylvain and Philippe Bergs, the winners in 2001.
It's not just a big entry, but a quality entry. There are more fast cars at the front of the field, excellent drivers up there, and quality all the way through into the P classes, right through the field.
And rallying is definitely booming. The 2003 season will consist of 9 events. Next weekend we'll be in Quebec City.
Then most of the eastern cars load onto a train for the western swing to Edson, Alberta's Bighorn, and the Rocky and Calgary.
A new event joins the National Championship this year. The Pacific Forest Rally will run out of Merritt, BC in June.
From the west coast to the east coast as the circus moves to Gaspé for the Rallye Baie de Chaleur in New Richmond.
The Laurentian town of Saint-Agathe plays host to the Defi in early September. Then it's the 3-day Rallye International de Charlevoix, run to full World Championship rules and always able to attract some top European teams.
Only 2 rallies are supposed to be winter rallies, but last year we had a significant snow and ice in 5 events. Finally, the season will end up in Ontario with the 31st annual Rally of the Tall Pines.
And rallying has a high profile at the Toronto Auto Show. 10 rally cars are on hand, and major announcements and unveilings were staged on press day by Toyota with their Prius. And Mitsubishi Canada announced their competition plans for Quebec City.
Rollout of the Rallye Art and Evolution series. As well, we're going to expand our Rallye team.
And of course, Subaru, the company that's become synonymous with rallying in Canada. They had 2 Canadian champs on hand to unveil their new 300 horsepower STI supercar.
You'd look good in one of those, Andrew.
I don't think so, Peter, but I can hook you up with a Mitsubishi.
And back in Maniwaki, the pre-event favorite has to be 5-time champ Tom McGear. He's only won this event once, and he says the roads don't really suit his driving style, but he's got a new co-driver, former British champion Howard Davis.
I'm looking forward to this event. Obviously not sat with Tom before, so it'll be a learning curve really. But Tom's got a lot of experience and I have, so hopefully we can pool that and get on together well.
And the first special stage was a very short spectator stage right in Maniwaki.
These super special stages are for the spectators, really. It's not where you're going to win the rally. In fact, it's a place that you can lose the rally if you stuff it. This will be an eye-opener for Howard Davis. He will be off of studs. He's never run on rubber dice, and he's off pace notes.
Still going left, Tom, in here. Keep it lit. Okay.
And now Sylvain and Philippe Eriksson starting their favorites here, Mitsubishi Evo 4. It was a Group N car last year, but it's moved up to open class with more horsepower.
Yeah, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with this year in open class.
Sylvain grew up in Maniwaki, and he knows these roads very well.
We're really happy to start another season. We're gonna do all the season west and all the season around, and the season is gonna be really hard right now because a lots of big competitor, big team, big car. We're gonna be there for fighting for the first place now.
And last year, Sylvain had a mixed season. He scored a win at the Rocky Mountain, but had expensive crashes and DNS at most of the Quebec rallies where he should be the most competitive.
90 droite dans deux.
And Peter, this car looks familiar.
It does indeed. It's Rod Hendrickson and my co-driver. He'll be doing most of the season with me. We had a great season last year. Won quite a few stages. Was leading the Defy Rally until it got a flat tire, and got some great times in Charlevoix, the second last rally of the year, and was running in second place till we crashed out in Tall Pines, unfortunately.
Well done. You had a good season, Peter. Look forward to taking it out with you this year.
And starting number 5, another open class Mitsubishi Evo 4.
Yeah, I've got a ringer co-driver in the car for this event, Gilles No, a former co-driver of the Sylvain Ericssons. He is local, so he knows the roads a bit. We've upped the spec of the car this year, put in some proper limited slip differentials and a dog engagement gearbox, which should up our speed a little. We hope to be competing at the front of the pack for the whole year. Last year, we had a good run. We won open class and finished second in the national championship behind Pat Richard. And we're looking forward to doing our best this year. The car has taken a bit of a learning curve with the differentials and with the fantastic new gearbox, but I'm hoping that by Quebec and certainly by the gravel rallies we'll be online.
You did a great job last year, Andrew. You got, what, 5 podiums, I think, last year? So should be fun this year.
Thanks, Peter. A lot of fun.
Another member of the new wave of Canadian rally drivers, Antoine Lestage, in another very competitive car, the Hyundai Elantra, prepared by the U.S. factory team. And which one of you three is going to score the first win? All right. After one stage, it's a virtual tie at the front. 1 second covers the top 6 teams. The extremely long and high-speed Perce Neige Classic stages when we come back. Welcome back to the Rallye Perce Neige in Maniwaki, Quebec. I'm Paul Chater with Peter Thompson and Andrew Comrie-Picard. The rally is based in Maniwaki, 2 hours north of Ottawa. 10 special stages totaling 220 kilometers, starting with the spectator stage in Maniwaki. Stage 2 is just south of town, 8 kilometers on a road called Des Cedres. Stage 3 is to the north, 6 kilometers. Then it's back into town for a repeat of the spectator stage and service. Then we get into the serious rallying in the Haute-Gatineau forestry stages. Stage 5 is 23 kilometers into a short 20-minute service. The next leg consists of 3 long stages back-to-back. Stage 7 at 46 kilometers is the longest stage on the Canadian Championship. The survivors will return to service, mount their lights, and head out for one more after-dark loop before returning to Maniwaki and a well-earned rest. And we're riding along with Sylvain Vincent on special stage 2. Peter Thompson, how are the conditions?
Conditions are cold. It's minus 14 degrees out there. So cold that Vincent's car wouldn't start last night at technical inspections. They had to push it in the garage, let it thaw out, and it got going this morning.
Yeah, actually what we all have to do, because the engines are built to fairly high spec and we have race fuel and hot plugs in the cars, is we have to keep them indoors overnight to ensure that they'll start. It was probably a mistake to leave the car out overnight at all.
These conditions are fabulous. The big snowbanks can work for you or against you depending how you hit them during the stage.
Yeah, the key is to hit them with the tail of the car, not with the nose of the car. So you bounce off if you hit it with the tail.
And we're running regular tires. We're not allowed studs in this country, unfortunately.
Makes it a little bit more exciting when you're just on the straight rubbered ice.
And here we have Tom McGear and Howard Davis. Howard's first blind rally without any pace notes, and he'll probably be a little bit more comfortable at the Rally Quebec.
Hard right, hard left on camber.
Howard Davis is 1996 British co-driving champion, and it's going to take him a little while during this rally to get used to our drawings in the route book and converting those into instructions for Tom.
He was pretty impressed with how fast we went without notes.
And at the split time, the clock shows McGear 3/10 ahead of Sylvain Vincent.
Yeah, Tom's got the most powerful car out here today, probably, but it's not that much advantage when you've got the slippery surface. You can see he's feathering the throttle all the time.
And T-junction turning left again.
Just can't get the car hooked up with all that power.
Right side Tom. 200 off camber, hard right. Coming to junction, hard left. It is down the bottom there. Sweeps right to junction, hard left. Quite narrow.
And coming up on the 7 kilometer split time,
Sweeps
McGear has dropped 3/10 behind Vincent.
Long easy right, continuing quite long, and long left over the finish.
I love how clear the UK co-drivers are.
And here we have car number 3, Sylvain Eriksson and Philippe Eriksson. And gentlemen, legend has it that Sylvain used to drive this road on his way to work every day.
I heard that too.
I don't doubt that at all. He's always luridly sideways, and he seems to have a second sense for these roads. Hard man to beat on these. He was on this stage on an AO34 Yokohama intermediate tire, much to his advantage, I think.
And at the first split, he's more than a second faster.
You can see one of the challenges we had at this rally was the sort of white light from in the car. It's a little hard to tell where the road ends and the banks begin. Climbing up on the bank there.
And across the finish line, Sylvain Eriksson with a final time of 6:57 to take the rally lead by 10 seconds. And Peter, number 4, these roads look a little faster and a bit wider.
These are a great stage. Lovely conditions, nice wide road, good snow banks. This was a lot of fun, this stage. We had intermediate tires. They were working well on this one, and it just felt really good.
And a great split time, second place just ahead of McGear, but 4.4 slower than Eriksson. And Peter, we're coming up now onto your second split time. And you've closed up the gap, finishing the stage second fastest, just 3 seconds behind local ace. And you're up next, Andrew.
Yeah, we were just warming up on this stage. It was a great stage. Actually, a cottage access road, so it was a little bit polished underneath. We were on
200, jump into a right off camber.
We were on intermediate tires at this point, and
100 right into.
we were just warming up. You can see that Gilles has been off co-driving for a few years and was just coming back for this event, and I hadn't driven with these differentials, so we're just getting up to speed on the stage. We didn't have the fastest stage, but we wanted to keep it between the banks and warm up.
Lap coming up. T-lap in 100. T-lap.
How tough was it to get used to a new co-driver?
90 right.
Well, actually, over the past season, I've had to get used to a few new co-drivers. I'm still looking for somebody who can make the commitment for the whole season. But these guys are all professionals, you know, and I've had no problems at all with my co-drivers. I've been very lucky. You see, I'm having to pendulum the car a lot, and we're a few seconds behind here, 7.5 seconds behind, and really, it's just us getting up to speed.
And you'll finish stage 2, 6th fastest, and sit 6th overall, 15 seconds off the lead with the big stages coming up.
Here's one of my favorite guys, Antoine Lestage. This guy's got a great future in rallying. This is the ex-Buffum Hyundai that ran in the U.S. Championship several years ago. I'm a big fan of Antoine's.
And he's just 13 seconds off the pace at the first split. I guess he must have spun or stuffed the nose into a bank somewhere. Jean-Paul Perce and Marcel Paul Raymond, 3-time national champ in the 70s. Won a stage here last year in a 2-wheel drive car. First ever all-wheel drive ride in the Subaru Lachute Impreza.
Yeah, Jean-Paul told me that he was having a little bit of a problem. The car was a bit brutish to handle, I expect, compared to his Golf. It's not quite as nimble. Here's Peter Rallye. He's designed his own rear suspension this year for this car and installed it, built by 4-Star. He's got a good Group 2 year ahead of him.
And we have Charles Hammer leading the Production 3 category.
And here's Edmonton's Maciej Ogrodzki in the smaller displacement P2 class Toyota Prius. don't adjust your volume. The Prius is a hybrid gas-electric, and it runs virtually silently. This is the first hybrid ever raced or rallied in North America. You're watching a bit of history made right here.
And I guess because it's got two motors, the Prius was bumped up a class because the P1 leader is Daniel Gauthier in a 92 Suzuki Swift. And here are the results of stage 2, just 3 seconds back, Peter, on that stage. And here's the overall leaderboard after 3. Vincent leads. My co-hosts are 3rd and 5th. We'll see if they can pick up the pace when we come back. Welcome back to the Rallye Perce Neige in Maniwaki, Quebec. Leading Sylvain Vincent, Dominic Cyr. They lead by 10 seconds.
The first four stages are around the city here. It's pretty much a mixed condition, icy with quite snowy roads, but because I was starting first, it was mainly snowy. I made a choice of mixed condition tire, and now it's going to change because it's going to be pretty deep snow, so it's going to be only big snow tires with opened up track. So we'll, but it can change pretty fast, and we'll see with the others.
Ericsson has won 3 of the first 4 stages in his Mitsubishi Evo 4, but he knows exactly where he lost the lead.
The beginning was perfect for us. I mean, we're running safe and we make really good time. But the second last stage, I make a mistake. I run too close of the snowbank on 5th gear, and I almost lost the car because the snowbank pulled me. And I lost at least 5-10 seconds on that, just to take back the control of the car and slow down a little bit and keep going, push again. But except that, everything was perfect.
And 3rd place for the reseed will be Peter Thompson.
It's great. I'm loving the roads. They're really beautiful flow to them. Nice conditions, nice snowy conditions. It's a lot of fun. The car's doing fantastic, handling really nicely. It's going where I want it to go, and things are going really well.
But you can't really relax, Peter. Joel Levac is just 4 seconds behind you in 4th place.
No, things are very tight in this rally. We were going to keep pushing hard on this one. We're having a good time in the conditions.
And Tom McGear said he wanted to start the long stages with his main competitors ahead on the road. It's working out well. He and Howard Davis are in 5th.
I really enjoyed those first 2 stages. A little bit frustrating from my point of view. It's difficult to know what the information I'm giving is like. I mean, Tom has been very nice and modest, saying it's okay, but I think I feel that given some more tools, we could give a lot more better information.
It's going great. Howard and I are starting to gel together. He's learning the Canadian way, and it's working well. We're, I think, 3rd or 4th overall, which is right where we want to be. We decided this morning that we'll let the others blaze the trail into the forest, and we'll sit back. I think we're 10 or 15 seconds behind, but that's right where we want to be.
And Andrew, you're just 1 second behind McGear in 6th.
The first long stage, my co-driver Gilles No is a local, but he hasn't rallied for a little while, so we took a little time to get up to speed and lost a few seconds. But in the second long stage, Deso, we got on the power with the differentials and just we flew through. I don't know if we won the stage, but we did. It's going to go well.
And here's the leaderboard after 4. This sets the restart order as the teams head into the Forêt des Aigles and the Sirius special stages. Let's have a look at the classes. In production 4, Joel Levac and Muriel Espic will be the team to beat this year. They're dominating here at Perce Neige, but mistakes are easy to make, and depending on how you hit them, the snowbanks can be very unforgiving.
They were also the champions last year in the P4 category.
And their biggest competition this season will come from another Quebec Subaru dealer team. And this team, driven by Julien and Marie-Yves Pilon from La Chute Subaru. On stage 5, the brother-sister team post good time, 5th quickest overall. Levac, reseated just behind Pilon on the road, misses a corner early on the stage, a little brush up against the snowbank and then right into it. Fortunately, there are spectators handy to help push them out, but they've not put out a warning triangle for the other cars on the road.
And here comes Mathieu Lestage on the stage. He's just about a minute behind Levac, and he'll be the next car on the scene with no warning from a triangle. Now it looks like Levac thinks he's about to get out.
He's already been stuffed in for 2 minutes and 6 seconds, according to our stuff timer in the right corner.
And over the crest here, you have Lestage coming in. Fortunately, he goes wide and hits the snowbank. Don't know if it's intentional or not, but he misses Levac without the triangle. Could have been a moment there.
And losing 4 minutes, Levac will never catch up. But he has to try, because on a rally like this, everybody has some trouble at some point. Now let's have a look at the Yokohama top 5 in P4 class. In first, Julien and Marie-Yves Pilon, Subaru Impreza WRX, followed by Joel Levac and Muriel Espik. Mathieu Lestage and Ivan Rasset in an Eagle Talon. And Frederic and Robert Labrie. And finally, Tim Stevens from Maine and Carolyn Bosley from Vermont. More of the Perce Neige Rally when we come back. Welcome back to round 1 of the Canadian Rally Championship. I'm Paul Chater with Peter Thompson and Andrew Comrie Picard. This is stage 5, 23 kilometers La Tortue. And is it tortuous on the tires, gentlemen? How do you pick the right one?
Well, this stage was a very challenging stage to pick the right tires on. I picked Michelin C5s, the deep snow tire, thinking it was going to be deep snow, and so did Sylvain Vincent. And unfortunately, we both paid a hefty price. We lost about 40 seconds on this stage alone.
Yeah, and we saw you guys go out on those tires, and last year when we were a little less experienced, we might have followed your lead, but I didn't think there was that much snow in the woods, and it was just too aggressive a tire choice. We were on intermediate tires, and it was definitely the ticket.
Well, the last 5 kilometers were
pretty icy.
Very icy.
Yeah. We really enjoyed this stage.
300 medium right.
We were coming up to speed here.
80.
I would have enjoyed it.
200 medium right.
You'll enjoy it again, Pete.
This one is medium. Medium right.
See, I'm actually correcting the notes there because we're going to use the stage again.
600 medium.
And Vincent started this stage first on the road, but the tire choice, as Peter mentioned, lost 37 seconds to Ericsson and was 3rd overall. And Peter, you were 4th quickest and 4th overall.
Yeah, we had kept it on the road anyway, so we can continue the rally, but we lost a lot of time.
Yeah, not an easy thing on those tires.
And McGear and Davis were happy to be 5th on the road, but another bad tire choice on a new experimental snow tire cost them 50 seconds. He'll switch tires at service, but will need some luck to make up that deficit.
Yeah, these were tires actually that were developed for the U.S. snow rallies. I think there's a tire factor here, but I also think the field's getting faster. I think Tom might be a little surprised by how fast some of the cars are going at the front of the pack.
And here's Jean-Paul Perce.
Yeah, Jean-Paul, this is the ex-Nichols car that was effectively wrecked here last year. He's coming up to speed.
Antoine Lestage, way back in 11th place, lost nearly 2 minutes on stage 5. And now let's have a look at the most popular class in rallying is P3 with 10 cars in this event. Some of them are locals who won't contest the full championship. 10th overall, Eric Carub and Charles Rivard in a Toyota Matrix. Then Scott Cummins and Sandy Highgate from Ontario. And the Flegel brothers, Robin and Jeremy, both from Ontario in their first national championship rally. And veteran VW racer Charles Hammer from Montreal, he's in 3rd. And the national champs in 01 and 02, Steve Walkington from Hudson, Quebec, and Todd Patola from Port Alberni, BC, lead after 6 stages. And Walkington inherited the lead when Hammer retired on stage 6.
Yeah, you can see his light dangling off here. He's had a problem, and he probably feels about as sad as his lights look right now. He's finding a place to station the car, which is going to be off the road, and not get in the way of oncoming drivers. It's a sad moment when you park your car, but here he is.
About 5 kilometers ago, we took a jump and we landed on the skid plate. It bent backwards and forced through the radiator, so we knew it was just a matter of time before the engine seized. found a safe place to pull over, and that's it. End of rally.
Walkington in his old Scirocco is beaten on the odd stage, but over the distance of an entire event, especially on ice and snow, he has been unbeatable over the past few years. We'd like to see what he could do in a more competitive car. Normally an extremely competitive class, this weekend Peter Rallye and Ray Felice have virtually no competition for their Ford Focus. They'll just cruise to the finish to grab points because this category is going to get a lot tougher as the season progresses. And back in 1993, Subaru Canada imported the all-wheel drive Justy. They probably regret it now because they're paying serious prize money at every rally in the P1 class. The smallest engine displacement class will be a four-way fight for the season among the all-wheel drive Justies. These cars just won't quit. The P2 class was won by Ogrodsky and Schindel in the debut rally for the Toyota Prius. They finished 22nd overall after a trouble-free and very quiet run.
Well, that is the quietest rally car I've ever heard. Interestingly, you can see on the dashboard there a quasi-WRC paddle shifter. This is a constant velocity transmission. Very different car to drive.
And here's the overall leaderboard after 5 stages. We've got lots more to come from the Rallye Perce Neige, but there's another event also taking place this weekend, the Rally Sweden, where Canadian Pat Richard is competing, and Trish McGeer is getting some information. We'll have more when we come back. It may look like Quebec, but welcome to Sweden. Canadian rally fans had to split their attention between 2 events happening simultaneously. While our championship kicked off in Maniwaki, Quebec, the World Production Car Championship was running in Sweden, with Canadian champ Patrick Richard as one of the preseason favorites. Sweden is the only true snow event on the World Rally calendar. Once again, Sweden marks the start of the Production Car World Rally Championship. That's for production-based Group N cars like yours, Peter. Basically stock all-wheel drives with uprated suspension and additional safety equipment.
Last season saw Malaysian Karamjit Singh win the championship with 2 wins out of the 6 rounds he took part in. He defends his crown once again behind the wheel of a Proton Pert. Sweden will be his first snow rally.
This rally is the first time for me. I mean, I've never done a snow rally before, but the roads are pretty good apart from the surface. But I think it'll be interesting for me. And championship-wise, I think here it's the first time for me. I'll just try to score some points for the championship. Yeah.
4th in last year's championship was Toshi Arai. The Japanese driver has had occasional drives for the Subaru WRC team over the last few years. He continues in his ProDrive developed machine in his quest for the title.
Last year I have many problems, but the last Australian rally I won the Production Cup. Maybe this year no problem because the car is quite good, and also I get used to the production car.
Former British champion Martin Rowe was 6th in last year's production championship, along with tackling the Junior World Rally Championship. This year he swaps his Mitsubishi Lancer for a David Sutton-prepared Subaru Impreza.
Last year it was the first time in the Production Cup for me, and you know, first time driving Group N cars, which have changed a lot. And you know, we ended up with 6th in the championship with 2 non-finishes on events. So we're hoping, you know, we can win the championship this year. We've got a new car. We're in a Subaru this time, so we've got a really good chance of winning.
One of the new faces, Junior World Champion Daniel Sola, will try for back-to-back titles this season. Each driver must select 6 of the 7 rounds from which they'll score points. This will be the Spaniards' race off, but experience gained will be invaluable.
It's my first time in the production championship and my first time with a Mitsubishi Evo 7. I never drive before, but I think it's a good car. It's a good championship for learn all the championship. Last year with the junior and this year with the production. Very good experience for me and for learn all the rallies. No?
Canadian rally champ Patrick Richard has plenty of experience on snow, but an accident on the reconnaissance means he drives with a new co-driver and a sprained wrist.
First time any of us from North America have done any kind of World Rally Championship in a long time, perhaps ever. And for me, it's just a great step forward from winning the North American Group N Championship and the Canadian Championship. So we're looking forward to see what happens.
3-time Asia-Pacific rally champion Possum Bourne has always fared well at his local events. The amiable New Zealander finally steps up to the world level and knows a real challenge awaits.
It's a dream come true for us, you know. We've been wanting to do a proper World Championship program for years. And the way the Production Cup is structured now, it's given us the opportunity to find enough money to come. We have no idea how we'll go here, but we've come, we've prepared as well as we can. we've invested a fair bit in the event, and we just hope we've got it all right, and we'll see how we go.
The notoriously tricky stages on this rally require a special narrow spike tire developed specifically for these conditions by the Scandinavians. With two types of tires available and the conditions often changeable, the drivers' choices have been further complicated by the season.
A new rule that's impacted on the production car class championship this year is that you're only allowed a maximum of 30 tires each event. This leaves the competitors with some doubt over what tires to choose in Sweden, because you have to have a choice of two. You've got an ice tire and you also have a snow tire. The snow tire is very narrow, designed for snow to cut through the surface and bite into the ice below. On the other hand, the ice tires for the harder conditions, the pure ice, and also gravelly roads. Obviously in the gravelly roads, it's going to be very, very hard on the very important spikes. If they start ripping the spikes out, then you start losing grip. And you also lose tires. They could end up on the last day with no tires and no spikes. An absolute disaster.
The championship takes place over 7 rounds of the World Rally Championship. With events on 3 continents, 26 crews will take part with drivers of 18 different nationalities. Defending champ Singh led the production cars from the start at Hagfors. Toshi Arai assumed the early lead but was sidelined by mechanical problems. The Canadian team was supposed to be co-driven by Ontario's Martin Headland, but he was injured in a head-on collision with a truck during the reconnaissance. The team hired local co-driver Matt Johansson, who had pace notes from last year's event, but written in Swedish. So add to Pat Richard's challenges of a sprained wrist, having never driven on spiked tires, no reconnaissance on 6 special stages, notes translated from Swedish, and a co-driver for whom English is a third language. I don't want to make any excuses, but Richard had his work cut out for him. Gentlemen, why has no North American driver ever cracked the WRC, and how big a deal is it?
Well, it's been difficult to springboard from North America into the World Rally Championship. We don't have as much rallying here as they do in Europe, a springboard, but also we haven't had a benchmark to compare ourselves against. Now that Patrick's going back and forth to the World Rally Championships and competing in Canada as well, hopefully we can see how well we would do if we were able to go, and who knows, perhaps Peter, someday you'll go?
I'd love to.
The rally turned into a duel between Polish champ Janusz Kulik and former world champion Stig Blomqvist, with Kulik eventually winning by 3 seconds. The Canadians did well to finish 9th in the elite field of the 28 championship contenders.
At the Rally Sweden, our crew was incredible, actually. I mean, in fact, they outshone a lot of the other crews there. They were able to do a transmission change in about 17 minutes, which is a record. They had a crowd of about 150 Fuji and ProDrive engineers clapping when they made it out. I had no penalties. The car ran flawlessly for the whole event. It was impressive, and I think they turned a lot of heads. I mean, I think that we deserve to be there. We had some trouble in the rally that was sort of out of my control that caused us to be a little bit slower on some of the stages, but I know for sure that we have the pace to run in the points in the Production Car World Championship, and I know that with a little bit of determination we can be in the top 5 regularly. So I think we deserve to be there. I'm happy to be there, and I think that's where I want to be. It's good for Canadian rallying, and it's good for my career.
And that's all from Sweden. When we come back, more from the Rallye Perce Neige in Maniwaki, Quebec. Welcome back to the Rallye Perce Neige in Maniwaki, Quebec. We're on stage 6, and this is Antoine Lestage. And gentlemen, we've been watching some of the drivers using the snowbanks to stay on the road.
Well, it's one of the real advantages of the snow rallies. If you use the banks correctly, they can help you. You can put the tail in like Antoine's doing right there, and it'll keep you on the road. Put the nose in, though, and you can be off pretty fast.
Now, we've got a particularly difficult corner coming up, an acute off-camber. It's icy, left-hander, 8 kilometers into stage number 6.
Yeah, this was difficult because we turned off a snowy stage, a little used road onto a logging road, and they get polished with the trucks running over them all the time. Difficult corner, and blind. We came over a right-hander blind into this left, and very hard.
This corner doesn't make any of the drivers look good, I'm afraid, and there's tons of spectators and a camera crew there.
Yeah, and look how hard this is for a 2-wheel drive car. That's no fun at all. 200 horsepower, nothing to do.
Good exercise for the spectators, though.
Can't do this at the Molson Indy. It's probably the only sporting event where the spectators get as much workout as the competitors. And here we have former Canadian champion Jean-Paul Perce on stage number 7, 46 kilometers long.
Yeah, Perce is an old hand at this. He knows these stages, and he's won on these same stages in the 70s. He's there for the finish.
And McGear and Davis still struggling with the route book, and they're on lightly tractionized ice tires now and going much faster where it's icy, but still losing some time in the deeper snow. This is really a trade-off, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, it is. You have to pick your strategy and try to choose the mileages for where you're going to get the best advantage. He executes the corner correctly, and you see he's on ice tires. He digs out of that ice really nicely, so he probably saved some time in that corner thanks to his good tires.
200 to junction, turn square right. So raid your car there, look for it. Junction, turn square right.
Now, it also looks here like the light is very flat. Can you see any definition in the road at all?
It's really difficult, Paul. I was switching back and forth from my UV sunglasses to try to get some definition of the banks. It's easy to easy to lose at the white light.
Turn right, 300. To long open hard right, downhill for finish. Long open hard right for finish.
Davis doesn't know whether to trust these notes or not.
Somebody been off there, look. Keep it going. Go on, Tom. Give it a gun.
100, medium right, downhill.
And Andrew,
narrow.
here we have you on stage 6, still second fastest over 32 kilometers.
Yeah, this was a good stage. We had a lot of fun in the beginning and end parts where the snow was. The middle where the ice was, where we turned onto the logging road, was a bit difficult. We got a little caught in the bank there, but it's all about tire choice. We lost a little time in the middle.
Okay, 90 right, sorry, double caution, 90 right, slippery, 180 left. 90 right, slippery, 180 left.
Here?
Yes.
So you can see that note's a little left. We're having a few communication challenges there. And stalled the car. So we definitely lost time here. It's difficult on these blind rallies to know when the corners come out.
But you weren't the only one who had trouble on that stage.
Yeah, well, at least I'm glad. Not us alone.
All the same, everyone seems to lock up at the crest of the hill and straight on.
Yeah, I'd rather be out on this nice snowy stuff here. And we had a lot of fun on the stage. I think we finished a very close second.
But on stage 7, Andrew, a big jump coming.
Yeah, this is an issue in rallies that have route books. That was marked as a bump.
And that hurt as much as it looked like it did?
Yeah, it did. And that took out our rear link. We landed first on the nose, pushed it up a couple inches, and then took out the rear suspension. You know, when the cars who make the route books go over 30 kilometers an hour, it looks like one thing, and when we go over it at 80 or 100, it does this to the car. Julien Piedon told me that his sister had a neck strain for a couple hours after that same jump. Took some other people out. Nasty business. And we were out.
Well, and with you out, that puts Vincent into second place.
Yeah, well, a deserving guy. He's been fast for years. And he doesn't mess that up too badly. You can see how difficult the light is there.
How often would the conditions change? Were they changing from kilometer to kilometer along the route?
Generally, if you stay on the same level of road, then they stay about the same. If you turn onto a different type of road, as happens not infrequently, then it can change hugely in just a few meters. That's a nice corner.
And then stage number 8 was delayed by 20 minutes, and Vincent was caught without driving lights. He lost time to McGear and to you, Peter. Here we have you on stage 6, and little trouble coming up at the hairpin.
Coming up to that dreaded corner. Listen, the next time through I did it better, but unfortunately this time through I did not do a good job there.
It was tough. It was blind. A little encouragement there from Rada.
Slippery from that point to the end of the stage.
And with you, Peter, on stage 7, the longest stage of the rally, and you won it by 21 seconds. The drivers following behind say there were a lot of Subaru-shaped imprints on the snowbanks. Were you taking a lot of chances?
I was using the odd snowbank here or there, including this one, and I had a great time on that stage. We were pushing hard on that one.
And here we are with the Ericssons on stages 6 and 7. They used Yokohama AO34 intermediates all the way around, and it seemed to be the right choice.
It was a good choice for the stage. They were on it. We were on it right behind them for the stage. It did very well in the snowy sections, not too badly on the ice. Tire choice makes a big difference, and this was the right one here. And that is the way to execute that corner.
He did a fabulous job on that corner, and actually this whole rally he's done a tremendous job. He's well ahead there, and I guess the challenge for him continuing through the rally is to make sure he just keeps the right pace, doesn't go too far, too fast.
It is a challenge because you have to drive fast to stay on the road, but you want to drive just slow enough to win. There, look at that. He's controlling the slide with the throttle. You can hear him changing the throttle, not the steering angle. Here too.
And here's the leaderboard after 8. Andrew, you're up, but we've still got Peter here with us in 3rd. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Rallye Perce Neige in Maniwaki, Quebec. We're at the last service stop before the final 2 long stages of this event. The Ericssons are in front, Vincent and Cyr in 2nd place, and the last 2 stages left represent 70 kilometers of full high-speed rallying. Here are the Ericssons at service, and they have to exercise a little discipline.
We put the same tires since this morning, the same kind, the 34 Yokohama. And I think it was the best choice because we don't have enough long kilometer on ice. There has some part on ice, but not enough to be on ice tire.
And Sylvain Vincent into service as well for the last time.
Well, till now it's pretty good. We only did 2 mistakes. One is put a aggressive tire, snow tire on the icy road on one stage. After that, we had the good tire, and also we forgot it was a chance. It was a decision from mine to not to put the lights on. So on the last stage, we lost maybe big seconds, but I think it's going to be on the next 2 that's going to decide really the position. It's pretty close, so we'll see.
And Peter, you had a close call. Let's hear from your co-driver.
About half a kilometer in, there's a sharp right-hand bend going uphill, and we just took it too fast going in and went right off. Luckily, spectators saved the day again, but got us right back on. We lost about 3 minutes of time wall, and so we're back in it and still holding along on the roads.
And there are some long faces at Team Subaru. Tom McGeer went off the road and didn't have spectators handy to help pull him out.
There was a right-hander and then going into a left-hander, and I got on the wrong side of the road. And it was very slippery, and I just understeered off on the left-hander, popped us over the snowbank, and got us stuck. So we were in there for about 39, 40 minutes. It's a long time, and I think at this point we're probably out of the race.
The hybrid Toyota Prius car actually pulled them out of the ditch.
So you had the lowest horsepower car pulling the highest horsepower car.
Yeah, and Sylvain Eriksson continues to post some fast times and wins the Perce Neige for the 2nd time.
Pulls the corner excellently again.
Nice road, everything is perfect, nice weather, people happy. Everything is perfect. I mean, the last passage on the last stage, we make some really scary passage, but because it's too icy. But now, as the job is done, everything is perfect.
And Peter, here we have you on stage number 9. 3rd place is secured. Is 2nd a possibility?
Yeah, we were pushing for it. We were going to keep the speed going and try and get into 2nd, but we pushed a little bit too hard on one corner here, and got launched up into a snowbank. Right next to where somebody else had gone off, and we were stuck there for an hour and a half, and it ended our rally, unfortunately.
Come join me in the bar, Peter.
And Sylvain Vincent in second place. He can't catch Ericsson, but he has to press on to stay ahead of Peter. Vincent wins stage 9, but on stage 10, his oil pressure light comes on, the engine starts to knock, and he shuts it off. A DNF just 20 kilometers from the finish.
I can tell you from experience, it hurts to turn the engine off.
And remember Antoine Lestage back in 11th place? He's up to second.
Way to go, Antoine.
We had a very good stage, and with the other stage before that were very good too. I think we are second or third, so very, very good. Very happy.
Lestage blasted through the last 2 stages, actually winning the final 46-kilometer stage. Admittedly, he was lucky to have both my co-host and Sylvain Vincent retire, but he's second, and that's winter rallying. And here's Jean-Paul Perce. He's won here before in 1976.
The rally was quite interesting. It was hard to keep this car on the road, and as you noticed, the last curve of the last stage, I totally missed it. But nevertheless, we had lots of fun, and I think we can get to the finish easy. So it's better than staying in the woods.
And Quebec teams sweep the podium. In fact, only one non-Quebec crew managed to crack the top 10. Rallye on TSN is brought to you by Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive, and by Yokohama Performance Radios. Yokohama, now you've got control. And this was a big win for Yokohama. And the Pilons win production 4 for Subaru Lachute. And a big surprise, Steve Walkington and Todd Patola prevail in P3 in their Scirocco.
Guys, just too fast.
The LaPointe Lefebvre team survives the Battle of the Justies to win in P1. And hats off to the Toyota Prius crew of Okratsky and Schindel. They finished one of the most grueling rallies on the continent in a hybrid gas-electric car on a single tank of gas. And the championship continues next weekend in Quebec City, one of the best rallies of the year. And for Andrew Calmery-Picard and Peter Thompson, I'm Paul Chater. This is Rallying on TSN.